It's nice to have you with us on a Monday. I'm Reed Cowan. You know, for the first time in 8 years, San Jose will have a new mayor come January, but the current mayor still has a couple of weeks left in his final term, so we're happy to be joined now live by Mayor Sam Liccardo, who has led the Bay Area's most populous city since 2015. Nice to have you with us here on KPIX 5.
Good to be with you, Reed.
We're your community station. So one of the big headlines over the last couple of weeks has really been getting 2 city council people appointed. You were not a huge fan of that. Tell us why.
Well, we believe in elections in this country, and given the fact that elections have been under assault, certainly throughout the nation, since January 6th, we've seen the very extreme examples. Our institutions need to stand for the principle that elections matter. We have 200,000 people in our city in those 2 districts that are not going to be able to elect the council member who will represent them for the next 2 years. I think that's a shame, and I'd like to do whatever we can to go back to the notion that we allow people to choose their elected representatives, not having politicians choose for them.
Mayor-elect Matt Mahan now has to work with a city council that some have said may not actually be on his side on many issues. Looking forward, how is that going to happen?
Well, I think Matt's a very bright guy, and he's very collaborative, and he's going to bring people together because what he's very focused on is what everybody cares most about. It's around homelessness. It's around crime and safety. And I think there's going to be a lot of support for pragmatic, common sense solutions that he's going to bring to the city. And I support him because I know he's capable of overcoming an awful lot of the antagonism that naturally exists in politics. He got elected even though 9 council members supported the other candidate.
So let's talk about safety because it is top of mind in San Jose. So many people killed because of auto pedestrian accidents and other accidents on your roads. It's been something that's been a huge problem. In fact, one of your citizens, Gloria Plock, says, look, it's too dark where I live. Right here at my neighborhood level, we need street lights and we need to light up these streets so people aren't killed. Also, the word of Maria Marcelo, killed not long ago leading a prayer procession right there on the streets. What is the solution for safety?
Well, there need to be a lot of solutions. You know, I was just talking to neighbors at Maria's memorial just a couple days ago. We've invested now to replace street lights, for example, 60,000 of them with brighter LED lights that'll help to improve safety in many of our neighborhoods. We've been pushing hard on the state legislature to give us the ability, like they have in 14 other states in this country, to be able to implement automated speed enforcement. We know we have a very thinly staffed police department, although we've added 200 officers in the last few years. We certainly need more officers. But even if we had 3 times the number of officers, technology will enable us to get to more locations where we can regulate the speeds, because we know speed is the primary determinant in many of these deaths. We've got to be able to slow folks down. So we want to do what other cities can do in other states. And I'm hopeful that the legislature this year will finally hear our call.
Well, and with so many people grieving the loss of their loved ones, I know a lot of people are behind that as well. Let's talk about housing. You've been a big proponent of getting housing that's affordable where you live. Do you think that will be one of the hallmark achievements as you leave office?
Well, bluntly, this is an area where none of us in the Bay Area have succeeded. So I certainly, I'm not going to start celebrating by any stretch. The good news is we've seen a lot of good progress recently, particularly in this agreement we have with the County of Santa Clara. That's going to enable us to build tens of thousands of new homes along transit corridors of North San Jose, places where legal prohibitions prevented us from building anything over the last decade. So we're really going to have to think differently about how we build, particularly if we're addressing homelessness more squarely. In a Bay Area where it costs $800,000 per unit to build a typical apartment building, takes 5 or 6 years, we need more nimble solutions. And we've been piloting those, particularly through the pandemic, with prefabricated quick build housing, for example, that we can build in months rather than years at a small fraction of that cost. We need those kinds of nimble solutions to scale.
But what is affordable housing? What's the metric for what do you consider affordable housing?
Well, it's based on the income of the person. That's really what matters, what they can afford. And so we have programs now that focus on ensuring nobody's paying for more than a third of their income on rent. But we know the reality is we still have thousands of unhoused residents. They can't pay anything at all. So the solution needs to be essentially a government solution. There's simply not going to be a market solution for someone who cannot pay rent.
Talking of housing or people who live unhoused, the homeless problem, a huge problem where you live, where you've been a leader. And we understand that some federal dollars were at risk if a homeless encampment, a big homeless encampment hadn't been cleared. Where do those people go, and what do you think, as you leave office, needs to happen? What Mayor-elect Mahan needs to have on his plate to sort of curb the homeless problem where you are?
Well, I'm proud of the way our team responded to get more than 180 residents that were living in the Guadalupe River Park housed. And now many refused the housing. We did the best we could. And some cases they didn't want to let go, for example, of an RV that they might have owned or a car. And so we were literally paying folks to let go of their RVs, paying hundreds of dollars. These are the really intractable, challenging human problems that we have in a world, in the Bay Area, where we simply don't have enough housing that's accessible, in many cases, to residents who are working and they're still unhoused. So we need the kinds of solutions that get us off of sort of the standard, let's wait 5 or 6 years for an apartment building to get built. We started innovating around converting motels to housing in 2015, 2016, and we saw it was successful, and now it's gone statewide and a very successful model. We need those kinds of solutions to scale. It's going to take more resources, but it's also going to require all of us to think a little differently about how we build housing.
Had a conversation with somebody who's unhoused in your area not too long ago, and they said, look, here's the problem. Down here on the ground, they can talk about getting us into housing, talk about getting us into these motels, but the process is horrifically not streamlined. Tell us about streamlining the process so somebody doesn't have to get on a list and wait to get on a list and then wait for somebody to reach out when they're on a track phone. They may lose that phone number. It's really difficult on the ground.
It's brutally hard. And because of state and federal rules, we have essentially a list that's county-wide that provides priority. And obviously, there are important reasons for that. We know that they want to prioritize those residents who are in most acute need, typically because of physical or mental health challenges. At the same time, we know there's unique challenges in individual neighborhoods where we want to get people in encampment housed quickly because there may be a safety issue or some other issue. So what we've really done as a city is investing city dollars. If we're only using city dollars, we're not bound by all the same restrictions of county and state and so forth. And then we're able to actually select residents in our community, in our neighborhood, and accelerate their rehousing. So we've done that in 3 projects now since the pandemic. A 4th just got built, what we call these quick build housing communities. We're scaling that solution now. With the council, we have now got under development 1,000 of these quick build units. This is going to be the solution that's going to enable transitional housing to get many more people off the street.
So, final question, how do we bring people together? You see in the world of politics, people are so divided, slinging mud on social media and elsewhere now. The mean-spiritedness is now hitting in real time. You see elected officials, Paul Pelosi attacked in his own home. How do we dial down this boiling point that we're at? How do we get the message out? It's time for all of us to come together and find community where these issues are concerned. Is that even possible?
Well, I believe it is, and I think our local communities can provide the best example. I mean, we think about the toughest of times through the pandemic, after the flood, when I saw thousands of people coming out to help their neighbors in need. What we know is that we face a lot of common threats. We think about climate change, we think about poverty, all the challenges that our urban communities face. We can bring people together when we focus on how we can solve these problems in the future. And I like to believe we've demonstrated some of that in San Jose. When I came into office, everybody was fighting over pension reform and licking our wounds over the Great Recession. We had more than 1,000 employees left City Hall. And what we've been able to do is focus our residents on a future that is more promising than trying to win the battles of the past, whether it's investing in first-generation students to ensure that they can have a pathway to college, or protecting thousands of acres in Coyote Valley for future generations. When people are talking about the future, it does bring us together, and that's what we've got to focus on.
All right. You want to break any news about your future here on KPIX 5? I tried to get you before we started this segment. Where are you going? What you doing?
Right now, I am trying to focus on sprinting through the tape. We've got a lot more work to do in just these last 2 weeks. So I'm going to do that, and in a few weeks, I'll figure out my future and hopefully get a job and work for a living.
All right. Yeah. You just heard it here. He's applying for a job maybe near you. Mayor, thank you so much for talking to us today. We appreciate it very much.